these days, so the 92. Oh, Danny Siama's gone round as well.
Looks like he's actually just had a bit of a knock on the...
The lead has changed.
Yeah, fair bit off the pace, these two at the moment. They should be doing a good 3 or 4 seconds a lap quicker than they are at the moment.
And Traffin in the number 1, and he locks up a left front.
Oh, Tony having a real good go there, locking it up, just overcooking it into Dandenong Road there.
Not putting any pressure on this guy, but I tell you what, really looking forward to seeing Richard Milligan get away. But it will be Phil Chester that gets the Monty Power car away nicely. And have a look at the charge down the inside there from Gary Bulmer. Absolutely on fire there, gets away beautifully. Just looking through the field there, yep, watching Milligan. Have a look at Traffin. He's starting to move around there as well.
Oh, he'll keep the pressure on Danny. Indeed, he'll keep the pressure on Danny there. A bit of rivalry between these two from the last 12 months, and Danny's really kept it well into turn 1 there, and really hugging that inside line, trying to keep the midget behind him. Mike's very good through the little windy bits and little midget. Again, got that little midget humming very well. Still an A Series bottom end, that thing. It's got a BMW head on it, which is why it goes so well.
Or it might be the A Series bottom end, just doing all the hard work and the head hanging in there. But I tell you what, though, he drives it and races it. And he's a real races racer. He comes to the track to go hard, and there's not a lap where he doesn't ease up in that thing, because you can't. You've got to be up it. You've got to be absolutely on it. The charge coming down from just behind there, and that is Bulmer in the number 4. It's 45 coming through, or sorry, the 48 coming through there as well. It's a good start by Tony.
Yeah, he's done well, Tony, off the start there to get ahead of those few cars. Just put a bit of pressure on Rod Wells there in the Sebring midget. Rod will be doing everything to keep that in front of those modern cars. A cool looking car, that little midget. Again, Sebring little duckbill front end. Probably not great for the aeronauticals, but or aerodynamics rather, but yeah, cool little car nonetheless.
Great to see Chris Gidney out there as well. Of course, this is the Hugh Gidney Memorial race, and fantastic that he's out there racing in the white car as well. They're going to go 2 wide next to each other here, the hatchbacks, as they charge down into turn 1. Looks to be a drive past in a straight line. Wow, the 19 showing a good turner straight line handling there, Sean.
Indeed, yeah. I think Chris has been doing a lot of work on that car in the last sort of 6 to 12 months, sort of developing it up to try and give Tony a bit of a run for his money. But yeah, look, Tony's just got back in front through turn 1. So good to see a bit of a dice with these two.
Good battle there as well, and they're starting to range up as well on Bollebreck and Wells. And the 3 just operating in the background there, Jason Holmes.
There's that GT6 for Gary Gibson, who's, yeah, look, I was chatting to him earlier. He's lost more knuckles building that thing than anyone's done anything recently. So, look, it's a credit to him to see the car out and about and going so well. Again, we see this little battle here between Danny. Mike Trathen just putting the pressure on through the windy bits. That V8's, you know, they're quite a good handling car, but yeah, look, the midget's definitely a little bit more sprightly through the windy bits. But Danny's doing well to keep in front of him.
Phil Chester, a 1:17.36 fastest lap of this race. This race beating last year was a different sort of side of things. It was more about the invited as more than the MGs. Mike Roddy turned up with the Jaguar, TWR XJS as well. Keith Ondaatje qualified on the front row there as well in the Triumph. So, and then it was, of course, Trevor Lindsay in the GT6, who, by the end of the weekend, actually won a race there in the GT6 and set sail on a ripping 2023 championship.
Indeed, yeah, he did very well. We are missing a few of the invited British guys this weekend. From the MG and invited side of things, there are a few cars that are getting rebuilds, and obviously everybody doing different things these days. So, but look, nevertheless, we've got a reasonable field here.
It is a good grid, yeah, really good to have over 20 cars. When you look through the field, it's and they're quality cars there as well. Got to say, I'm missing the Ondaatje Stags. like to see them out there, and send Keith the best of wishes. Caught up with him at the Big Series presentation dinner. He said he was going to organise a bit of a motorsport boys lunch. Waiting for that. Probably had it and not invited me.
Oh, maybe.
I'm going to get a message any minute now from Keith saying, "Oh, we're doing it tomorrow." Oh, thanks, Keith. Yeah, I'm at the racetrack.
But you're bang on. We are missing the Ondaatjes. They are a good addition to the field. Love seeing the Triumphs out there. Like, Danny's really having to pedal this thing, keeping these two little lighter cars behind him. Again, both 4 cylinders, these two. Gary Bulmer in that little MGB there, the red one with the flares. I'd say it's about a 2-litre engine with a cross-flow head. Fairly worked MGB. But Gary's done really well to get it up there behind Mike and Danny Siama.
So Gary just off the back here as well, and Mike Cratham just giving it every single rev that is possibly known to man. Rangers right up in behind Danny Siama. This is where the GT V8 will start to pull away. Here's the intervals. We're looking at it now. Danny Siama to Mike Cratham, 0.2 of a second. Bulmer, 0.5. So we've got them well and truly closed up. Here comes the rest of the field. Yeah,
Hank Zotterveen here. We're seeing the nicely presented MGB there. A fairly well sorted car. Oh, Jason Holmes in the Turbo Rover MGZR there on screen as we see, just trying to chase down Rod Wells, using all the turbo power he's got, giving the Sebring a run for its money. And I must say, it's not a factory Sebring. It is just a midget with a Sebring front.
This is the grey car we're watching with the green stripe over the top shot.
Indeed, yeah. Look,
it's an interesting looking iteration, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it's cool to have something different out there as well.
It is.
You know, it's not just another MG front midget sort of thing out there, but look, that car again, modern engine, MG Rover K series, if you will, same as the Lotus Elise Series 1s and that sort of thing. Hence why he's gone the X-Power grey and green combination for the little midget. Again, very modern engineering into an old midget shell, so great to have him out there.
You touch on the Sebring front. What are we talking about there? We're looking straight at the car now.
Yeah, so I think, again, the idea back in the period was to try and make it that little bit aerodynamic. You know, Rod's decided to go with that front end. Again, probably for something different. I was chatting to him earlier. I think he's got about 15 sprites or midgets back home, so he's got a few for sale if you're looking for a nice bug eye or sprite. But yeah, look, he decided to go for this just for something different. Not that common, you don't see him that often, and yeah, look, cool looking thing.
Yeah, it really is. It keeps so I guess that frontal area is a lot further down. We got a good comparison there. Actually, one right behind it, line of stern with each other there.
Yeah, very similar.
The B not quite the same as the midget, but then again, we can draw a comparison. So if those MG aficionados out there, that is the Sebring front, and certainly is something different. Here's a great battle going on as well. Yeah,
Jeff Pike down from New South Wales, and John Makem there in the little midget, having a bit of fun.
John Makem, interesting. It'd be fun to watch him trying to get in and out of the MG. Big fella.
Yeah, look, he was saying that he's caught up with old mates the other day, and they've all put on a few pounds, but that's all right. You know, these things happen. But no, it's good to see him back out in the midget. He's absolutely loving it out there, and it's good to see him doing so well. He's slowly wound that car back up since he brought it back out a few years ago. Had a few years sort of off the racetrack sort of thing, and yeah, it's great to see him out there having a ball.
He's a big fan of the telecast as well. He bailed me up at the presentation dinner last year and I can't even remember what I was being accused of saying about him, but I've said it now, haven't I? I remember saying the big fella in the midget.
No, it wouldn't matter. Yeah, he's got tough skin, old Johnny. He's all right. He'll brush it off.
Really enthusiastic MG racing competitor, that's for sure. Back, here we go. This is for 4th, 5th and 6th on the road here as we're seeing Chester. He's now sprinted away. Hasn't betted his time of 1:17.36 just yet, but certainly very, very fast out of the gates.
Actually, it's worth mentioning, I mentioned that Simon Elliott was out there in the RV8. Now, it looks like they've had some problems getting it back on track for this race. He hasn't quite made the start of the race, and so that actually brings Danny Siama up into 3rd position at the moment, Mike Trathman into 4th. So, look, Danny would be absolutely wrapped at the moment. Hopefully he can keep it where it is and bring it home.
Yeah, shame with Elliott, because that car at Calder at the end of last year had hit its straps. He was doing a brilliant piece of work. And again, it's an iteration on something that we know, but looks different, really does, that V8 type of car. And what was very interesting, and I'd never actually seen the road going on, someone bought one out to Calder, and there was one in the paddock area. So to be able to see the race car and see how to bulging haunches and all of that on it was
different
pretty cool.
Yeah, look, again, probably worth saying that car is generally an MGB underpinnings. It's had panels made to look like an RV8, but the way it's been done is just brilliant. You know, it really is a credit to Simon and his team, the way that car's presented. And generally, you know, he's only a couple of seconds off Phil, so it's a shame to not see him out there, but hopefully he'll be out tomorrow. Have a good race.
So Phil Chester leading the way with Milligan behind, Danny Siama, who we're looking at right there in the 15, Mike Cratham behind him, Gary Bulmer, Hanks Barton, and then we go to Rod Wells, Jason Holmes, Chris Gidney, and Tony Vollerbeck rounding out our top 10 as we get a good look at the 67 now of Gibson.
Yeah, gorgeous little thing. Again, just finished building this thing up from scratch. The last sort of 12 months as he has a little whoopsie into Dandenong corner there. He's really still getting his head around this car. Oh, we've just got Jeff off in the kitty litter there. Hopefully you can rejoin safely. They don't have to red flag this one.
Big shout out to Trevor Lindsay, probably home in South Australia, watching the championship, which he played such a big part of in Victoria last year, and it was great to see him over here for the presentation and take his awards as well. Did a terrific job in the Triumph GT6 last year. That's not what we want to see.
No, that's unfortunate.
Probably don't want to burn the clutch out and dig a hole there and not get out of the dirt, is it?
No,
that's going to have yellow flags.
That's a big shame for Jeff. Come all this way to from New South Wales, and accidentally put it off into the kitty litter. Look, these things happen in racing, don't they?
They do. 4 minutes left in this, the first race for the 2024 season for the Bennett Signs MG and Invited British Racing, race number 1.
I just love this GD6. I think they've got great lines, the GD6, and again, the way he's slightly flared it and just made it all suitable for racing, he's done a good job.
I don't like that. That just breaks my heart when you see a driver sitting up on the top of the tyre barriers after parking it in the gravel, and we have got a safety car, so I would suggest that is for the car down there. There's nothing else really around the track that's going to create grief for us. But here's this Triumph we've just been talking about, Sean, and yes, I do agree, not to brush over it, but they really did a beautiful job styling that car back in the era when that car was first sort of made. So
yeah,
they do look good, and last year we had one that did such a fantastic job.
As you say, with 3 minutes left on the clock for this race 1 of MG Racing and Invited British, I'd say we'll finish this one out behind the safety car, but look, let's see how quickly they get it moved.
The Racer Industries safety car comes out on track and nullifies the field for the time being. So it is Phil Chester in the Monty Power MGB GT V8. I think holds the lap record for the class here, doesn't he?
He does. I was just going to say earlier, he's done a 17.3 this race. I believe he's got into the 16s, but I'm actually not 100% sure. I think you'll find the track record here is a 16. I believe it is in that car, but I don't think Phil was driving it at the time. So, look, I don't believe he's going for a lap record in the sense, but the track and the conditions are definitely favourable in that case.
Tell you what, though, Phil Chester, as far as this series is concerned, is a tireless, I'm going to also almost a tireless servant, but a tireless worker around in the background, trying to draw commercial support into the field, and we do send out our gratitude and wishes to him on his plight, and keep going, Phil. We'd like you to keep working, and we'll get that elusive big naming rights sponsor, I reckon pretty soon. The way this telecast is going and the way we're representing Victorian motorsport to the world is second to none. There's no one else quite doing it like the Victorian Series. Safety car has nullified race number 1, and it's been, I can't remember when I've seen an MG and Invited British cars race under safety car. That's something that we don't see very often indeed. Big shout out to Bennett Signs, obviously supporting the MG Racing Australia outfit here this weekend.
Indeed, I might just take a quick opportunity to thank our annual sponsors for MG Racing and Invited British. We've got Buran Motors back involved for MGs, and Wolf
Chester?
No, they're not back on board. Excuse me. No, that's why I didn't want to mention them.
Well, we have. Oops. Thanks, Phil.
Maybe next year.
And Glenn, yeah, no problem.
No, we've got Splat Engineering back again for another year, and Hobson Stores are involved again with MGs. So great to have them all back on board for this year.
There's that
and again, awesome to see 888 Home Loans back sorting out the Vic State Race. So it's great to see.
It really is great to see, and a big shout out to 888 Home Loans. It is interesting that they've come on board in I'm going to say a time in the world globally where interest rates and things like that, cost of living, are really right at the front of our thoughts. And I guess no time is quite like right now than to give the Big Four a big check-up and give 888 Home Loans a call, get them to take the pulse and heart check on your home loan. And once they've done that, give them your business, because they are doing a tremendous job. It's one of the oldest sayings in this particular sport: support the sport that supports your sport.
Indeed.
And
I'm hanging to go and see those guys. I've got a remortgage this year, hopefully, but we'll see.
Certainly thoroughly recommend go and see Cam and all the team there at 888 Home Loans. I don't think you'll get Cam on the phone. I think he's at a high level, but I'm pretty sure all of his staff will be grateful to take your call and sort out your home loan. Let's have a look at these cars, Sean, as they come around through turn 4. Triumph TR6, I remember wanting one of those desperately. desperately wanted one of those.
Yeah, we are missing a few triumphs out there again. There's a few TR8s that are usually out and about, but yeah, look, the TR7 of St John Cox there, again, back out and having a ball.
So the car's just trundling in behind there. Phil Chester just looking for some clean air. The time has elapsed, and I dare say, I'm just trying to get a bit of a look. Still holding the safety car sign out. I'm not sure that we're going to get a checkered flag at the same time as they come round. It's going to be at least one more lap, apparently. So, we're going to restart. So that'll be good. We will get back underway, and it'll be it'll be a club sprint, won't it? Really, it'll be like a one lap, flag to flag, bang, there you go. And Phil Chester getting himself nice and comfortable. Just a bit of a reef on the belts, and everyone will be doing that just to make sure they're comfortable while we're in this, I guess, nullified state for the race at the moment. Get yourself ready for a real charge at it. Build it up. Lights are out on the safety car, and it exits. We're now under the control of Phil Chester. The green flag is being presented, and he's controlling the field, and away we go. Does not delay. And the 60 heads straight back out after him, of course, coming around on lap number 10 for Chester. Milligan completed. Danny Siama there as well. So going with them at this point in time, you cannot overtake until you've got that control line behind you. And no last lap board, we're just being told. So obviously 2 more. So let's hope that particularly Danny Siama's given it a good fill on the fuel to go an extra lap in this race.
I hope so too, yeah. Look, these are definitely where you can see some interesting laps. Tyres cool down, brakes cool down. Some things can happen when drivers just push for the last 2 laps. We've seen a bit of a battle there of David Mottram and Peter Rose just as they go out of turn 4.
Geez, David Mottram's been at it for a while with these things, hasn't he, as well?
Since 1986, Darren.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was out there pushing MG racing in 86. I know because I was born in 86, so I keep getting told that it started then. So, massive credit to people like David Mottram who are still involved in this sort of sport. And it's just great to see him out there having fun.
It certainly is, and that's what that's what the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships are all about. And you get some really vibrant groups like the MG Racing group and the Racing Register as well, as it's known. They do a great job promoting the sport and promoting a great feeling around it. Sometimes racing can be a bit testy out on track when you're going for the win or you're going for the position. But
even in midfield, Darren, just like you've seen just off screen there with Chris Gidney and Tony Volibert and the 2 modern ZRs out from the UK, and as they just take the last lap board, you see them dicing around 2 so similar cars that really it just comes down to driver at that point, and they're having a ball midfield, so it's great to see.
Geez, reminiscence of Tom Hutchinson and the Dr. Mort going around in there too, Triumph and their MG, just watching that MG bobble down through turns 3 and 4. It is the car, isn't it? It is Mort's MG coming on the back straight.
Yeah, it will always be known as Mort's old car, but look, not to discredit Richard. He's done well to keep this thing going and get it back out on track after a few years hiatus, but look, it's great to see the car out and about.
It is. It'd be nice to see Tom's Triumph back out racing as well.
It would, yeah. I'm not sure where that is anymore. I think he put all the running gear into his TVR Tuscan. Yeah. So look, that car's probably no more, but yeah, gone but not forgotten.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. As we charge down now, the checkered flag is at the ready. And Phil Chester, who did a terrific job in qualifying, does a terrific job from fence to fence at the Victorian State Series, and he takes the checkered flag and race number 1 for the season in the MG Racing, and for Bennett Signs takes it P1, and he'll take it over Richard Milligan in that magnificent red MG there as well. This is the battle as we're starting to work our way to the line. Where's Danny? He's
I think Danny's just behind this lot. They caught up with a few back markers as they were pushing each other around, that little group of Danny Siama and Mike Trathen and Gary Bulmer. There they are, just coming onto the front straight there in the background.
So Danny gets home in P2. It'll be Mike Trathen and Gary Bulmer. And very, very happy indeed.
That's great stuff. Danny will be over the moon with that result.
It is good.
Good for the mechanic as well.
Get the number 15 as mechanic celebrating his head off. Well done, Sean. Pat on the back.
But just quietly, that GT6 of Gary, he's made up about 6 positions, I think you'll find, through that race. So, again, amazing to see Gary doing so well in that car.
So, checkered flag has dropped, and we will clarify those positions for you. good run there as we've still got, this is the cars coming around on their warm down lap. Phil Chester takes the win in the number 72, the Monty Power MG GT V8 to Richard Milligan, also in the MG V8, Danny Siama. Also with the V8, very, very happy Sean Hurley right next to me, who does a lot of work on that car. Car number 1, Michael Trathen, comes home and heads off on his assault to defend the title. Gary Bulmer, Rodney Wells, Henk Zwardoven in there in number 6. Chris Gidney, well done to Chris to get home in 8th there. Beats home Anthony Bollebrack and Gary Gibson rounding out our 10. John Makem, good return in the number 33. Jason Edwards, Peter Rose, Adam Ailiff, Shirley St John Cox, James Dodd, Dave Mottram in 17th place there. Jeff Pike, Jason Holmes, and Simon Elliott didn't take the starter's flag. And Phil Chester, a 1:17.3649, fastest lap
on the front grid. And just to confirm from yesterday, this ex-Mort Fitzgerald car on the number 2 position there did in fact have the lap record at a 1:16.4 for about 10 years, and Phil only beat that in about 2022 with a 1:16.
Away we go, the race starts. Number 10 gets away nicely. Good clutch take up there by Richard Milligan. Phil Chester, of course, goes with him and streaks right across to the driver's right. Takes the ultimate line into turn number 1. The interesting thing is going to be the GT stripe car of Siama and Trathen in the number 1. And he locks up a left front all the way into the corner, but manages to get it out in P3. Danny obviously heard and saw that and went, oh, I'm not going to be part of what's going on there.
No, he'll be chasing Mike there all race, I'd say, just trying to get back in front. Be interesting little dice to see unfold.
Gee, I'll tell you what, Gary Bulmer and Rodney Wells, though, they're there, aren't they? They're just watching. I wouldn't even say they're just watching at the moment. They don't want to let those guys stream away, but we just look at what is a sliding history of British sports cars and even hatchbacks as we go into the more modern cars there. We've got the Sebring front just popping out there as well in the green and I'm going to say gunmetal grey or dark grey open top there, and coming down into Dandenong Road for the first time. We get a good look at Gary Bulmer's style.
Another lock up there from Mike Trathen into Dandenong Road by the looks. Great to see Gary Bulmer there, got that car going. He's had a few teething issues this weekend, so great to see him right on the back of Danny there. The 4-cylinder Roadster MGB, just giving it a little bit to the V8.
Yeah, certainly hanging about there. This is the telling tale, though. The V8 just opens up. There's nothing quite like cubes and pistons on the straights here at Sandown. Just easing away, but Mike Trathen, let's hope he doesn't turn that left front tyre into a 50-cent piece.
I reckon he's been winding some power into that thing overnight. He's done well there. He's left Danny almost for dead there down the front straight.
What sort of power would be in that midget? It's not a lot, is it?
Look, not a huge amount. Again, the weight would have to be around the 600-700 kilo mark, yeah. I'd say, at the most. You know, with the twin cam head he's got on that A series, it's probably putting out close to sort of 200, 250 horsepower, I'd imagine. Yeah, look, I'd say you keep that sort of figure under his hat a little bit, but yeah, look, it's great to see it going so well.
Always good to see it. Well, the Triumph just in the background there, getting it mixed up a little bit here with Chris Gibney and Tony Bollebrack. Edwards comes streaming on through. Good to see the Triumph there. Of course, we had Trev from South Australia over last year doing a good job. Here comes the
Jeff Pike
in the back of the grid.
Yeah, look, Simon's slowly getting his way through in that RV8. The headlights are on and he's winding his way back through the field.
Geez, wasn't too many that came from the factory with bright LEDs like that, was it?
Not at all, no.
Coming through, looks brilliant, doesn't it? That number 55 really is a great looking racing car. Huge rear wing, you know, when it goes right out of the pump arches, right out to the extremities of the body there. They're looking for certainly some downforce. Charging on through there, the field being very, very careful not to get mixed up with Simon Elliott and the 55 as he charges his way back through the field. The good thing about it is, Sean, that the last race for the weekend is on a 3:45 for these guys. So the further he can get through the field, the more we'll have those 3 V8s.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully Simon does sort of find his way back up the front and have a bit of a dice there with Richard later on. But yeah, look, he's doing well to come back through. We're actually seeing Rod Wells here working his butt off here just to keep the 2 modern ZRs behind him there, and as they go into turn 1.
Yeah,
Chris,
this is a good battle with Chris Gidney, isn't it?
Chris has been chasing a few brake issues this weekend. It looks like he's sort of got it sorted. He's keeping in front of Tony there. So look, hopefully he can maintain that position.
They raced these cars, these ZRs, in a one-make series, didn't they, in the UK?
They still do. Look, there's a couple of different variants, and these two cars are just about at the same spec now, where they call them a 190 car with a slightly bigger engine and those sort of things. But yeah, they do run them in a one-make series in the UK at club level and at full race level.
Cars in the background here. The Triumph bobs its eyes up above that little rise at the top. We've got the 33 battling it out here as well. So mid-pack now here with John Makem.
Oh, look, the lack of food since yesterday might just be playing a part with John. He's had the pressure on to drop a few kilos from the commentary booth.
It's a lightweight version, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. No, but look, he's still getting out there. He's actually giving Gary a bit of a run here in the Triumph. Gary's done really well to keep it up into ninth there. So it'd be interesting to see how that unfolds.
33 on the 67 here. The straight line looks very tight around through 13. Tries to run out over the yellow line there using full track extremities there, the 33. And then just drifting ultimately back over to the right-hand side of the track to set the car up to stream it through turn 1, which, albeit is a 90-degree corner, it's a very, very wide piece of road, wide exit, so you can flow the car through there quite fast. Bennett signs MG and invited British cars. Oh no, there's the Elliott car. Simon Elliott's gone round at turn 4. The officials are just telling him to stop, bide his time as the whole field that he's just managed to overtake screams on through. I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to put the his car into any danger as well.
No, a bit of a shame there for Simon. He's obviously overcooked it through turn 4 and just looped at mid-corner. So he'll get going again and catch up a bit of pace.
So just parked it up there. The officials giving him very, very clear signals as to when you can go there. They're used to doing that on that corner. Bill Chester comes through just acknowledging the flags there as well. He's got the lead in this race and has done a 1:16.33 out there. How's that? How are we closing in on what his actual...
Oh, he's 0.3 of 0.3 of a second off his best time round here. So he's good conditions for a lap record. If you can get into the 15s, he'd be over the moon. So he's currently sitting on a 16 flat as the lap record, and he's held that since early 2022. So it'd be interesting to see if he can knock a 0.3, 0.4 of a second off his current time.
I don't think he's put new tyres on this weekend.
No, look, he's definitely not chasing a lap record, but it's still in the back of the mind in that sense. I think the car's definitely capable of it, but it is really down to the push comes to shove at that point.
Great shot here on the bridge now as the cars come streaming under us. There goes the Triumph. And there's Johnny Makem with the red and white checkers across his rear quarters.
Again, a shame that there's only one Triumph GT6 out here this weekend. You were bang on when you mentioned yesterday that Trevor Lindsay would be sitting watching the stream in anticipation. So if you're watching again today, Trevor, maybe we'll see you next round.
Definitely was a fantastic part. In fact, one of the sensational aspects of the entire Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships last year was to watch Trevor go about his thing.
I think, as Gary mentioned earlier, I was chatting to him about the GT6s, and he said, Trevor, that GT6 of Trevor Lindsay is basically like a pair of jeans. He puts it on and he just knows it so well.
Yes.
And you can see, as you say, last year, the way he drove it was just impressive to watch.
So Elliott's now got off turn 4 and made his way into pit lane. So that's a shame. We were hoping to get those V8s sort of towards the front of the field. But sadly, you do have weekends like this in any form of racing.
Yeah, look, he's definitely chasing a few minor issues with that car, and I'd say it's just gotten to the point where it's just unsafe to drive it at pace. So, look, unfortunately, we'll possibly not see him for the rest of the weekend, but I'm sure he'll get it sorted. It's not as difficult as a Rolls-Royce, so, look, hopefully he can get that one fixed and back out on track.
Here we go, talking about getting it fixed up and applying the pressure here. Car number 1 all over the back. Mike Trafford of Danny Siama, and he's just using the right boot to his absolute gain at the moment. Sitting in behind, they're almost a line astern with each other, trying to shake that draft off. That is Gary Bulmer just off the back of that shot there as well. So Gary, I guess, is staged just in case something unfolds in front of him that's might have one of these cars decline in position at some stage, but doing a ripping job in the 4. I reckon he probably actually wants to be a lot closer to the battle.
Yeah, look, again, unfortunately, Gary's got a few minor issues with that they've been fiddling with all weekend, so it's possibly a little bit off the pace today, but again, not holding back.
And they're doing through turns 12 and 13 here. This is a good battle.
It sounds like Rod Wells has just had a bit of an issue somewhere on track, unfortunately.
So these two coming across the line now. 5 minutes left to go. So that is Jason Edwards, who has gone off track with a mechanical issue, has continued on, and that is in the MGF. This is Danny Siamo, still on screen here in the number 15. Well, here's a group with a fast car coming through. That is Richard Milligan, and getting out of the way is the 67 there of Gibson.
He might be a bit caught up with traffic there, Richard. He's only run around at 120s. He should be doing about 117s, 118s in that car. But chatting to him earlier, he's done a few in the 17s. So you know, the car and himself are definitely capable. So possibly having a few little issues.
Phil Chester there in the Monty Power MGB GTV8, leading the race down into turn number 1, being followed now by Richard Milligan, some 7.5 seconds down the road. They've just put laps on these guys. That's up to about position number 10 in the race, with 4 minutes and 10 seconds left to go. There is a little bit of speed disparity between these cars. Certainly there's development of the race cars.
And the drivers, Darren. And the drivers.
Too. Well, these cars mostly run in a period correct mechanical format, and some of the other guys at the front were stretching the limits of that.
Indeed. Yeah, look, again, take this opportunity to say a huge thanks to our annual sponsors of Splat Engineering and Burin Motors. We wouldn't be able to come racing without these guys, so it's great to have these guys on board.
Bennett Signs, of course, throwing their weight behind round number 1 here for the MG and Invited British cars at the 888 Home Loans Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships. We've got a massive calendar of events coming up. You'll see most of these cars right across the season. We've got Winton on the 16th, 17th of March, then Phillip Island, May 17, 18, 19, back here at Sandown for the 23rd, 24th and 25th of August, Phillip Island, September 20, 21, 22, and then Calder Park rounding out the season on the 26th and 27th of October.
We're just seeing Chris Gidney here really trying to put the pressure on Hank Swadever in the little 4-cylinder MGB. Chris couldn't quite make the move yesterday on Hank, and hope we'll see if he can have a chance in the next few minutes.
Chester got those Le Mans flashes stuck on, I would say, at the moment, getting through there, charging on through the field here, and we got Chris Gidney roaring alongside the B there and dipping it in. 36 goes back one spot for Hank.
Not an easy overtaking manoeuvre to do there, so he's done well to make that stick nicely. Very safe driving, good to see.
The MG racing scene is certainly alive and well, isn't it, with events on at Rob Roy, and here, of course, with this round, and of course MGs are often on the Island Classic and here at Sandown for the Classics as well, aren't they?
Yeah, you bang on. Look, I think the Rob Roy Revival, which is a massive event for Rob Roy through the MG car clubs on in the next few weeks. Great little event to get to if you get a chance. And again, look, you're right, we have a great little category here, and we've got some reasonable entries this weekend, but there are a few regulars missing, so a few people probably watching from home. A few people weren't able to get here this weekend. A bit of a shout out to Barry and Ursula, who I'd say are sitting at home watching the race unfold. They were supposed to be out here this weekend, but due to power issues and unfortunately not being able to get cars off hoists, they've had to withdraw. So look, it'll be good to see them back out later in the year.
It's a shame, that, isn't it, with what's been going on around Melbourne this last sort of 7 to 8 days with that sort of thing. But definitely I'm missing a couple of stags that I'd normally be glued to the competition with as well. So it's a big shout out to the team number 40.
Seen a nice little dice here towards the back of the field with Peter Rose and Adam Aliff in the little A-Series midget, having a bit of fun down the back.
Yeah, geez, Peter Rose has been peddling this thing for a while too, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has indeed. Yeah, look, it's again like an old pair of jeans, this car for Peter. He jumps in it, and in about 3 laps, he's where he should be. So again, he's just got in front of Adam there into the turn 1. Keeping
Peter
him
Rose.
honest.
So we're looking at 14th and 15th on the road here with the 6 and the 14, which is kind of irrelevant to the positioning in the field because these two will get out of the car and they'll have had a ripping old time.
Oh, look, Darren, this is what makes me want to get back out there. I've been watching this sort of battle throughout the weekend unfold, and you know what? Like, you get out there and have a bit of fun through midfield towards the back, and it doesn't matter where you're racing. I don't think as long as you're out there with someone having a bit of fun, it's there's nothing else like it.
Have a look at this. We're going to see Phil Chester just evolve onto the straight here. There he is. He's coming through on the guys that are currently sitting 3 and 4 in this race. So he is, except for the guy that's behind him, lapped the entire field. Phil has gone through the Monty Power car. Well, there's a change of position there as well as Aleph goes through on Peter Rose. Drove through on him there, and they will be now have their mirrors full with the charging Phil Chester. Blue flags being waved, so the drivers have to acknowledge that there is a faster car coming through, and the 72 into the S's. It's 11, 12 and 13, and I think it will be getting the last lap board. Yes,
yeah.
The last lap board going out now for the Chester car, and the rest of the field will see that as well. Phil has got an entire empty front straight with him. Danny Siama as well coming through, and behind him is Mike Trathen in the number 1.
Yeah, look, it's all about consistency for the championship. So Mike's done well to sort of hold fourth for the weekend so far. So, look, it'll be interesting to see how the year unfolds with these guys. Mike obviously defending his championship win from last year and the year before. So can he make it 3 in a row, which will be interesting to see throughout the year.
Something I always like to point out on car number 1 as well is that it is, it's got the road registration number plates on it there as well. Not that I think he drives it to and from the track, but the option is there.
No, but there's always the odd test. As we see, Shirley's had a bit of an issue there, possibly a bit of a mechanical problem there that she's evolved. Hopefully it's not on fire.
That's definitely on fire. That's some black smoke getting out.
Oh, well, that was well within the 15 seconds, so she's done well.
Yes. The mandated 15 seconds you've got to get out of a car these days. So the 92. Oh, Danny Siama's gone round as well.
Looks like he's actually just had a bit of a knock on the front. That doesn't look good for Danny.
No, Mike Trathen continues on. So Trathen will bring himself into a P3. Here's our race leader for Monty Power, Yarra Valley Towing. Fantastic looking MGB GT V8 of Phil Chester takes the race win for race number 2 for the weekend. The feature race here for this morning's racing. We still have another race to go this afternoon, but he's sent a fairly clear message, hasn't he? Well over 16 seconds in the lead of this race. Waiting for Richard Milligan to get to the line and
still coming around, I think.
He's finished the race. So, boy, it's going to be Phil's just won it by even further a margin than
there goes Richard
last
over the
lap
line.
around. It's 31 seconds to Phil Chester.
And as we see that
yellow
flag,
flags, obviously.
As we see those flags waving profusely, I'd like to say a huge thank you to all the officials out there. Again, we wouldn't be able to go racing with any of these volunteers, and massive thank you to all the people behind the scenes that have made these events happen.
John Macon just getting the green flag there to continue on to the end of this race. Is he going to be able to challenge the car in front? The nullifying of the field sort of up the back straight and down into Dandenong Road slows you down, breaks your concentration as well. The Bennett Signs car number 33. He's not going to throw it away just yet.
Great to see.
All up.
Great to see Jeff Pike out there finishing this race. Again, he's had a few minor issues this weekend, but great to see him finish, get the checkered flag.
So the field just coming around now. There's service vehicles out there. Got a couple of pickups to do. Hopefully Danny had just looped it and is able to make his way back to the pits under his own steam. Here is the confirmation of results. By 31 seconds, Phil Chester beats Richard Milligan. Awesome to see car number 10 of Richard Milligan's back on track. It really is a magic piece of motorsport history in the Australian realm of things. Mike Trathen, car number 1, home in P3, sets his championship title defence up nicely, doesn't he?
Not bad for a trophy race.
Gary Bulmer, Rodney Wells, Chris Gidney home in 6th there. Hanks Wardeman there in the 36 home in 7th. Tony Vollebrek in 8th. Danny Siama ultimately home after holding onto a position on the podium, 9th, 10th there as well to Jeff Pike, 11th, then John Makem, Adam Aleph, Pete Rose, James Dodd, Shirley St John Cox parked it up with smoke billowing out from under the bonnet of the Triumph, and Jason Edwards. Simon Elliott withdrew throughout that race.
And David Mottram.
Yeah, real shame, but this is what sort of happens at the end of a weekend of long racing here at the home of horsepower. So much part of this lap is wide open throttle, and that does demand a lot from the mechanical package. Here's a couple of guys on the front row of this grid that are demanding a lot from themselves, each other, and the field behind them, as Phil Chester gets beaten off the line for the first time this weekend by a car that knows how to lead races here at Sandown, and Richard Milligan getting his head wrapped around what is underneath the number 10 here. But Phil Chester to be just cruising up to turn 1 that time around.
Yeah, looks like he probably got a bit of wheel spin off the line and just allowing Richard to follow the first lap through.
How hard would it be to not, when you get wheel spin in that car, not to just leave your foot in it and just leave a couple of the number 11s down the race?
Oh, it would be hard, wouldn't it, Darren?
Yeah.
I reckon I'd stick it flat and just hold on.
Just let the tyres do their thing, or they blow up.
That's right.
Before you hit the turn 1, but certainly Phil Chester presents a brilliant looking car, as do all of them. I'm not going to be discriminating against them, but Michael Trathen at this point in time, he's got some work to do. He's in the number 1. He's been sort of left behind a little bit there at the moment, as these guys get on with it at the front.
Yeah, Phil will be really putting the pressure on Richard here. I reckon he'll really make him work for that win, but we'll see what happens down the front straight when the power comes onto it. Good to see Richard having a bit of a lead of the race every now and then, though. Again, this car's, as you say, not unfamiliar to be out front, and Richard's definitely doing well in this car this weekend. And he actually runs a nice classic car workshop up in Bayswater, I believe, looking after these old things. So again, not unfamiliar with the old MGs.
Yeah, this is a good run here. The car does look brilliant, and it has done for its entire racing life that we've all been enjoying it. Phil Chester now right into the rear wing. A couple of cars with massive rear wings I do not think they were ever intended to have on board, but obviously work very well, and they're just inside the confines of the bodywork, aren't they?
Just indeed, yeah. Look, a lot of strengthening goes into these chassis to make them work the way that these two have been built with upwards of 500 horsepower. Again, Phil really putting the pressure on Richard, making him work for it. We'll see what happens up the back straight here as Phil opens up the big V8.
Drives on by, that's what happens. Richard Milligan notices the gap in the air, drops him behind the 72, and the Multi-Power Blue MGB GT V8 goes into the lead of the race on lap number 2. 12 minutes remaining, and I get the feeling now that Richard Milligan's not going to let Phil just slide away with it. The look on his face as he leant into that corner at Dandenong Road was, yep, I'm not going to lose sight of you, pal. I'm going right with you. Bit of a note across the bottom of the screen for uninterrupted coverage. Go to blendline.tv/live on YouTube, and you'll be able to continue uninterrupted to watch it. If you are watching via Facebook, you will get interruptions throughout the day, and you can certainly engage with us at www.vsrs.com, and we'll love to have a conversation with you also via our social media channels. There it is, vsrs.com.au for the official website, as the lead has changed.
Yeah, fair bit off the pace, these two at the moment. They should be doing a good 3 or 4 seconds a lap quicker than they are at the moment. So, look, I'd say Phil's just having a bit of fun there, letting things warm up nice and slow, and see how he gets on later in the race.
Maybe they're just like the rest of us, Sean, just wilting a little bit in the heat. The temperature's still only 25 degrees, but it feels substantially warmer than that, doesn't it?
Look, I reckon that track temp would be up around the 40, 50 degree mark, and
sure.
as you say, that really takes a bit of toll on the tyres at the end of a weekend. And again, being an MG, you do have to nurse these things through all weekend, despite of the engineering that's gone into them.
There's the official weather, 23.6, 57% humidity. South-southwest direction of the wind at 9.6 kilometres an hour. An officially cloudy day. From where I am, it is a exceptionally clear blue sky for Melbourne.
Yeah, no, we've definitely had the weather put on this weekend, as we see Rod Wells just go over the top of the hill there in front of Chris Gidney and Tony Vollebrit.
Well, our leaders side by side across the line there as we get a good look at this battle here with Wells, Gidney and Vollebrit there.
Yeah, it's interesting watching these guys because Rod's, give you a bit of an idea, Rod Wells, that little midget, it is running a modern MG Rover K-Series engine, as are those two ZRs behind him. So very similar paced cars on track when it comes down to it, but completely different cars when they come to the basics.
Yeah, I guess it's a modern engine put into an older car, but the two cars behind with their designated production engines on board.
Yeah, bang on.
With a good tune on board. Of
course. A little bit tweaked, I'd say, Darren, just for racing. A few forged bits have gone into those ones. As Chris almost takes a look up the inside of Rod there into turn one. Doesn't quite make it.
He's a long way back, though, isn't he? You're going to have to do the big Hail Mary.
I think he's just putting the pressure on Rod, really making him work for that.
You'd feel the pressure too there, sitting fairly exposed in the number 60. Well, I suppose the great thing about this car is that frontal area is very small compared to the ZRs behind.
Oh, they're pushing quite a lot of air through the air. Yeah. Yeah, look, it's great to see Rod back out. He has had a bit of time off the last probably 12, 18 months, and having a chat to him after qualifying, seeing how the arms were feeling after a big hard drive, he was definitely feeling it. But great to see him out there doing so well.
Phil Chester's pulled out a handy lead of 4 seconds over that last lap, and indeed it was on that last lap. A 1:17.8 for him and a 1:22 for Richard Milligan. So Phil has just opened up the tap on that last lap, and I'm starting to feel a little bit inevitable here for Wells, because Chris Gidney and Tony Vollebrecht are poised for a manoeuvre here.
Oh, any mistake will open the door for those two, so hopefully Rod can keep it in a straight line and bring it home.
Now, Sean, you were saying Danny Siamo has got a bit of damage on board the MG GT V8 as well. We're to the point where you've already got it back in the workshop. Yeah,
look, unfortunately got caught up with a bit of oil on track there up the top of the hill and slipped his way into the wall. A bit unfortunate for Danny, but look, no doubt we'll get that sorted out and get it fixed, get him back on track before the end of the year.
Great to see the wheel work going on inside the Wells car there. The lack of roof and windows. You can see the hands right up the right angles of the windows, almost like the next category we've got on track next, Formula Fords. You can see exactly how much lock they're pouring on them when the hand goes past 90 degrees and starts to pull it round to 180. You know you got a fair whack of lock being pulled on.
Yeah, it looks a little bit cool, calm and collected there, Rod, but no, look, I'd say he's been absolutely steering the hell out of this thing. Trying to keep in front of these two modern ZRs. I'd say they'd have a little bit more power, but as you say, a bit more weight and a little bit less aerodynamics. It makes for a bit of a dice.
It does. Well, they're just giving a bit of a seesaw action on the wheel to tip it in at the top of the hill, which can be a bit of a confidence booster. See what sort of grip you've got under you. Decent set of slicks on the Sebring fronted MG there as well. So you should have plenty of grip. Who knows how old those slicks are, though. That can be the weighing story, can't it?
Yeah, indeed. Look, they're probably not brand new, but no, look, Rod's doing very well either way to be keeping in front of these two. Look, the midget, as I said, I think in the earlier race today, he's definitely got weight on his side, but getting that power down in a nice little car like that, I think you need a big sticky slick to get it all down.
Talking about that, just up the road from Rodney at the moment is Mike Trathen, car number 1, the reigning champion, and rightfully so. Just consistently getting results out of every single race and being able to pounce on the front runners when something does go wrong. At the moment, I'm not feeling as though there's a whole lot going wrong either for Phil Chester and or Richard Milligan, only that Richard's not being able to quite match the pace of the Monty Power outfit there of Phil Chester. This battle continues on, and we're talking about 4th, 5th and 6th on the road. There goes Mike Trathen just disappearing out of shot in P3.
Looks like he's having a bit of a Sunday drive, Mike, out there in no man's land, but I'm sure he's having a bit of fun with himself.
Punching out 130s out of a 1.3 litre is a pretty good day in the sun, isn't it?
Not a bad little steerer, Mike. No, he's done very well. Again, there's a reason he's won 2 championships the last 2 years. So it'd be great to see him get close to that this year. But look, you never know what happens throughout a year of racing when, as we've seen today, all sorts of incidents can have played a part in the overall championship for the year. So, well, after round 1, Phil Chester's definitely going to be up there. But it'll be interesting to see what Mike can do for the rest of the year.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I had a couple of fans down there just chatting away, and one of them said to me, why is it that the Trathen car did win the championship. It's simple. Finish every race, finish on the podium, and one of the others just has to trip up along the way or not front up to a round, and there's number one on the side of your car before you know it. That's simple.
It is indeed. Consistency is key, Darren.
I wish it was that simple. Yeah, but it is consistency. Finish every race, drag points in.
Indeed, yeah. Look, we have a point structure in the MGs that does basically allow for any car to win, dependent on other competitors and other class competitors in the sense. So, look, it's a really good category in that sense that it is, as you've seen, we've got an open V8 running, generally 117s around Sandown. Hasn't won the championship for 2 years. So, it's great to see a little midget winning the championship yet again. It happened probably 5-10 years ago, 10-15 years ago. But it's great to see him back out there running number one.
Yeah, and it's not easy. These cars need constant attention. They need their blood pressure taken on a daily basis.
Oh, dear.
They need their emotions talked to and kept in check, don't they?
Well, look, being that he's
or
running...
Or is that the drivers?
A bit of both, I'd say, Darren, in that sense. But look, being that he's running a BMW engine, I would have thought the BMW reliability came into it. But, you got the worst of both worlds there, being MG and BMW. But, no, look, Mike's done a brilliant job. He's a bit of a spanner man himself, and he's predominantly done 99% of that work on that car himself. So, again, huge credit to him to see him out there, again, running around in third. I
don't think Mike would be disgruntled with me if I said he's quite the boffin when it comes to getting this car going fast. No,
brilliant engineer.
Yeah.
It's
passionate,
it's nice
enthusiastic.
Chatting. Indeed, yeah, very positive being. So.
Here comes Phil Chester now. He's got those Le Mans flashes on. I think they're being used up at Mount Panorama now that it's pouring down rain in the 12-hour up there this weekend. We hope all the competitors are safe and sound up there, because it can be a bit of a treacherous place in the rain. But Phil Chester got the safety lights on, just letting everyone know that, yes, car number 72, that's why they're waving the blue flags at you, is coming on through. He does show great manners, in fact, when he is coming through the field. Phil, he doesn't just come up behind them and blow the doors off them. Having said that, that's what he's about to do to these guys. Yeah. But they've got their own race, and he's quite respectful of that, and he just comes easing his way through there as well. There's no setting lap records when you're involved in being gazumped in the traffic. Not
at all, but despite that, Darren, he's actually stretched the lead to Richard Milligan out to nearly 16 seconds. So, yeah, great to see Phil getting stuck into it again, and off he went.
Wow, I'll tell you what, though, we've only got 2.5 minutes left in this race, and that has absolutely zipped by. So the MG and invited British cars, like they've done over the last 2 seasons, and I'm convinced that they can see themselves in the TV lenses. I'm going to get necked on the way out of here tonight, aren't I?
Not at all. No, I reckon that's a driving factor now when it comes to paint and panel. I reckon guys are starting to paint their cars a bit brighter just for that blend line coverage. So bring it on, guys. Bright green, bright orange, bright yellow. That's what it's all about.
Exactly right. Bright LED lights flashing as you're coming up on the traffic. Old Hollywood Phil Chester as he comes through.
Well, Chris looks like he's going to have a bit of a go here. Rod. He's slowly edged closer and closer for the last few laps. Doesn't quite get alongside him, but he's really put the pressure on there.
He's in the distance. He's in the zone now, isn't he? Yeah. He can certainly pounce.
Again, big brakes on these ZRs for what they are. Again, fairly light shell, but yeah, very well broken. So if Chris has any chance, he'll give it a red hot go, I'd say.
Gee, have a look at this. He's well and truly in the zone there. And interestingly enough, he hasn't left Tony Vollebrecht behind either. Tony's just going completely and utterly with him at the moment. There's Richard Milligan ranging up in the background. Will he have an opportunity in the next minute and 29 seconds to catch them? Now, there's the Lucas headlights we like. Just a little bit of oranging dullness to them there as well. Not the LED effect.
Richard's definitely got the candles lit on the front of the V8 today.
Sealed beams off the front.
Just quietly, Darren, some of this footage is sensational that we're seeing on Blendline today. It's some of these extra views we've got are just impressive, so it's great to see.
Stepping up is the crew down there at our production company that brings us all of our pictures right around the world. And really, it literally is right around the world. People enjoying the pictures we're coming out. Look, it can often be a bit of a click and mistake and just get onto something. But when you do see some of these international viewers that click by mistake and they stay for an hour and a half, it's not a mistake, is it?
Not at all, no.
You're there to watch.
Here we go. Richard will just wind through the back markers here and find his way through the field.
To be fair, these guys aren't actually back markers now. This is middle of the field groups that our leaders are starting to range up on. 29 seconds left on the clock, so we'll get an extra lap on top of that.
And Phil Chester's just gone over the line to take the last lap board as we come to the end of our race 3 for MG Racing.
Again, Great shots. Look at that. You can see his hands and the power come on. A bit of opposite lock, bit of a correction there, which is always going to happen when you start to pour on that sort of horsepower in a light and chassis. Here's our race leader, car number 72, Yarra Valley Towing, Monty Power, entry of Phil Chester. And this guy certainly lifted the bar along with his great mate Vince Cacciato with the green car, which we've, I think it's probably been sold by
It has actually, that car, just a bit of insider information, it has been changed hands, and hopefully we see it later on in the year. The gentleman who's bought it has expressed that he'd like to come MG racing in it, so it would be awesome to see that back out.
Here we go, Phil Chester, last lap. Still got the flashes on there. So yeah, that'll be interesting. That was a menacing looking car in that olive drab military sort of looking colour compared to the bright blue here of Phil Chester's car. But boy, they were a sight. Throw Robin Bailey in the mix with the black car with that massive bonnet bulge, and that was a heyday of MGB GT V8 racing. Absolutely a heyday of it, and Phil just loves to get behind the wheel of this car, and it really is an expression of himself as well, isn't it? Gets out there and just wants to go fast.
Yeah, it is indeed. Look, Robin Bailey was chatting to earlier. Actually, he's on the mend. In that sense, the car's getting its final bits and pieces to come back out. So we should see that car yet again throughout the year.
Phil Chester just dropping in behind there, the midget, going on through there. Is he just going to let this car get an extra lap in at the end of the race and just follow him through to the line?
Yeah, nice cool down lap for Phil. He'll be winding this one back just ever so slightly. Allow, as you say, allow some of those midfielders to get that last lap in.
He's giving him the hurry on, isn't he?
At least he's turned the lights off.
And he's waved him on through too. He's given him the go wide. I'll open up the track for you. And he's like, no, have another lap, mate. Go for it.
But this is what sportsmanship's all about. You know, look, Phil doesn't need to open it up and try and get a lap record on the last lap. Wind it back slowly and allow some of these guys to finish their race nicely.
And Motors across the line there enjoys that checkered flag wave to him as we continue on with this one. Get another lap. In the end, Richard Billigan, I guess to the fact that Pete had just slowed down for the last 4 or 5 corners there, the win was by 8.42 seconds. And we have got the entire field just streaming across the line. Now there's car number 1, Mike Trathen, home in P3. Rodney Wells, who had a very patient Christopher Gidney and Tony Vollebrecht in his mirrors the entire race long. And looks like we're going to a replay. Oh, here it is. These two are getting willing, are they?
Tony having a real good go there, locking it up, just overcooking it into Dandenong Road there. Great 888 Home Loans replay from Blendline TV.
And watching our field coming, streaming on through to finish off this one.
Yeah, that's it for MGs from round 1 for the Vic State Racing Series.
Is that Johnny Makem coming to the line?
That is our category captain. Yes, indeed, John Makem.
Were you going to say fat controller?
Not at all.
No, not either was I.
Not from my mouth.
No, not at all. Absolutely, I am not going to get out of the property tonight without a black eye, am I?
Yeah. No, we're actually off to Tailem Bend for the next round of our season. So running at Tailem Bend in May, and we'll be back for the Vic State race, I believe, for round 4.
Fantastic. So there is the final results. Phil Chester to Richard Milligan, Michael Trathen, Rodney Wells, Chris Gidney, Tony Vollebrecht, John Makem, Jason Edwards, Pete Rose, Adam Aliff across the line there as well. James Dodd, the last of our finishers there for the MG and invited British cars. Sean Herlihy, thank you so much for your time throughout this weekend. Love and wishes to Danny Siama and his car and the getting it ready for the next time.